Dozens of people. Here's our next story. Dozens of people are signing up to a job site for older workers every day. More and more of them noticeably struggling to find jobs, particularly in the last 9 months. One ad for a lifeguard at the Wellington pools seeks someone who is more than 50 years old. It tells applicants to forget your preconceptions on what a lifeguard looks like. We want people from all stages of life. Hurrah. But the team behind the Seniors at Work website says with 7,000 registered job seekers over the age of 50, they need more opportunities like this to match the spike of people looking. Seniors at Work founder Ian Fraser says that the general slowdown in recruitment increasingly impacts older workers. And he joins me now. Ian, good afternoon.
Hi, Leah. How are you doing?
I'm good. Lovely to talk to you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Gosh, and you're busier than ever. Just for our listeners though, Ian, what is the age range that you serve?
Yeah, we advocate for Kiwi job seekers in their 50s and over. So most of the job seekers are probably in their 50s, 60s, early 70s, like an old man like me who's 73. So yeah, I qualify. I tick that box.
I qualify too. You've
Welcome.
Welcome. You've seen some big jumps of new people signing up every day. What's behind this, do you think?
Yeah, it's not great. It's because I guess the last 2 years the economy hasn't been great, and in the last 6-9 months the unemployment rate has gone right up high. So, as you said in your intro, employers aren't recruiting to the same level. So, people over 50, they're really struggling to find work because of those drivers.
I mean, young people too, you did mention, I think what's the unemployment rate, 5.1 or 2 or something? It's high.
Yeah, it's over 5, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, young people too say that they're struggling to find work, but you say unemployment has different implications as people aged. Can you explain?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of talk about younger people, out of school or uni struggling to find a place in the workforce, and that's really tough and that's really sad.
Yeah.
For older people, I say let's not forget those over 50, because they have to put food on the table. Many of them have mortgages, they have ongoing or increasing health costs, and brutally, they've got no mummy or daddy that they can turn to in any way, shape, or form. So they've got to survive on their own accord, and it's as I say, it's not easy, and we do have an aging population.
Well, actually, we know that. I wanted to touch on that, but we're also fitter and healthier and can work longer, even if you don't want to, you've got to. Do you think employers see it that way, though, Ian?
That's a tough question, Leah. There is still some bias and discrimination out there. No two ways about that. I reckon it's not as bad as it was, so it's definitely better.
Okay.
For an employer at the moment, they're not necessarily targeting people over 50. They just say, look, we put a listing, we want to fill a role, we get so many applications, we just take them. And it makes it more challenging for a niche agency such as ourselves. But I don't think I think a lot of employers don't fully appreciate the value that a mature worker brings to the workforce. No two ways about it.
Have you, in your experience, Ian, come across employers that think because they're senior, they don't have to be paid as much? You know how younger people start on the bottom rung. I mean, well, some kids don't think they should, but that's kind of where they start. and do some employers go, you know what, I would actually hire someone that's 55, but do I really have to pay them, big wages? Have you come across that?
Yeah, it's a good question. To be honest, I haven't.
Good.
I don't have employers, or certainly the employers that work with us, they are quite happy to pay a mature person whatever they'd pay with it, the same amount they would pay someone who's in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. based on whatever the job is. So I
'Cause
personally haven't
haven't seen it.
experienced
That's
that.
good,
No.
because you know what I'm saying. It's like, oh, he wants to. You know, I could work in a fruit. I could own a fruit stall shop, and then and a gentleman approaches me, and he's like 65, or 68, and says, you know, oh, do you need some workers here? And I might think, well, you know what, I'm sure you'll be fine, but you know, I think you're just wanting to get out of the house, aren't you? So yeah, I just, you know, I wondered if that came into play.
Oh,
So
look, there could be. There could
yeah.
be.
Yeah,
I'm just not
I'd never do that,
across
Ian.
it, fortunately.
I'd never do that. And I don't own a fruit shop, so I would never do it.
Oh, well, that rules you out then.
That
yeah.
rules me out, I know, because I would hire
But you
them.
have had a Barbie doll, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Kelly, my producer, told me that you were listening. Isn't it funny? Just things have changed.
It is
Ian.
funny, yeah. It is funny. Sorry, we digress. Yeah.
That's fine. I do it quite often on my show. What are some of the misconceptions about older workers and myths that you can bust right now?
Yeah, look, the biggest myth is that older people aren't tech savvy.
Yeah.
And my response to that is people of my age have seen so much change in the tech world in the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and we've had to adapt to that. So most of us are fine in that sense. If you're not tech savvy, I give very strong advice that please take a course to upskill. If your employer offers you some upskilling and training, for goodness sake, take advantage of that. Never say no. So there is some onus on job seekers and older workers to take some responsibility. I concur with that.
Yeah, I agree, because you know, even in my line of work, and I've done this nearly 40 years now. You know, I started with vinyl records.
Wow.
Have to explain to the young people what that is, and then you know, we never had computers, and now it's all screen. It's, you know, part of me loves it, part of me hates it, because you know, you get a technical glitch and you're off air. You know, in the old days you weren't like that, but
of course,
but I've had to learn. You know, we have to pivot and learn, and I've done this in this industry to keep doing it. So it is important to keep up to date with this stuff. What has changed?
And pivoting,
Ian?
pivoting is a good word to describe it.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah,
pivot. You got to pivot. But what has changed is society, and what you can and can't say, what you can and can't do. Ian, I think you know where I'm going with this. And you know what we thought growing up was okay to joke about, or words that we used. Nowadays, you know, gosh, I can't even keep up with what we're not allowed to say and not allowed to do, and who we're going to offend. And
it's very hard in your role, isn't it?
yeah, well, I just blow past them all. But I'm saying for older generation, I don't know if you've had feedback from, you've got them a job or they've gone into a company, and have they maybe struggled with the culture or the new way that the world now sees things? That's always made me quite interested as well. Or is that something they can just adapt to?
I only get a little bit of that sort of negative connotation and feedback from people that have actually gone into the workforce and not felt comfortable.
Yeah.
I think, you know, you could ask the question of some recruiters, and I think some recruiters aren't necessarily comfortable, if that's the right word, in considering people in this, you know, in this demographic, and that's a shame and a pity, because as you and I know, I mean, older people have got a lot of pluses and qualities about them, which they do bring to the workforce. So it's sad that it doesn't always come through.
Because I was thinking about, you know, how not all, but the younger generation use boomer as a derogatory term. You know, you boomers, you've lived your life, you've got your houses and you're rich, and that kind of, what I'm saying, the culture could be difficult for a senior person in a company or a job where they may be looked at differently. Just might not be. I might be putting problems in there that aren't, but I do know the culture shift has changed. So it could be something an older senior worker has to kind of navigate around now. Just another complexity to it, I suppose.
That generally